Good morning, friends. We are learning our subject data visualization, subject code 3160717. In that, we are learning the module 4, that is Introduction to D3.js, right? In previous lecture, what we have seen, that was we have used the style method. That is, actually we can say we have used this select, right? Selectors we have used, selections we can say, right? That was using the select method and select all method, right? That was we have learned in the previous lecture. Now we know that what are the prerequisites to learn the D3.js. You can say, ma'am, after teaching this many things, why are you telling us to have the prerequisite to learn the D3.js? That is, see, till now, whatever tool we were using, that was a local tool. Now we want to install the web browser because without that, we'll not be able to work, right? So text editor that is known to us, web browser that is also known to us, and we are using also HTML, that is good understanding of HTML tags and structure that is required. CSS we should know. Yes, DOM we should know, document object model. Then after JavaScript that should be known to us. And yes, web server. This I am showing you because till now we haven't used any web server. And now, that is, after whatever topic now we want to know, in that we need to have the web server, right? And for that we can say that we can be having, say, Apache Tomcat or Apache, any Apache server we want to have, that is as the web server. Fine. Okay, so now let's say that we should have the server. So here I can say, here I have installed the XAMPP web server. So that I need to start. You can install whatever web server you want. This Apache I'm starting here. This web server is started. Now, for this Apache web server, what is the document directory wherein we can put the documents, that is HTML documents, and we'll be able to use it through our local host. Let me show you that. I have just started this and say our browser. Let me show that here. Say http :/localhost. So it is opening the by default page of XAMPP. This is my local server. Okay, this is local Apache server which I have opened here. Fine. Okay, so whatever docs we want to put on this web server, those must be there in the directory, that is the htdocs, in the installation directory of XAMPP. Here I can say C drive. Inside that XAMPP, this is my installation directory. Inside that htdocs is there. htdocs is there. Now in that we have to put whatever data we want to put. If we want, we can put the directory also. Suppose for data processing I want to see, I have made a folder. So if I want to access any file from this, I can do it. Double click over here. I can put the files here. Will I be able to directly double click on the file and can open it in the browser? That you can see, but that will be through our local file system. So if we want to get it through our web server, what should we do is, suppose here I'm doing it as giving the file, say data processing, and enter. Just a second. Oh yeah, here it is, dashboard, right? We have to provide it as the data processing, right? So now we are able to see the index. Here these files, these are being shown here, which are available in our this particular directory. Fine. So now in this directory, we'll be putting our files and will be accessing them. That is through these only. That is, this files will be used as HTTP localhost slash data processing slash whatever is the file name, right? This way we'll be using the files. Okay. So now let us see. We want to learn about the topics. They are the loading and filtering external data, building a graphic that uses all the population distribution data formats you can use with D3, right? So this is what is the next topic which we want to learn. So for that, let's say that first of all, we want to load the external data. We want to load the external data. For that, we can say D3 can handle different types of data defined either locally in variables or from external files. D3 methods to load different types of data from external files, and they are, say, D3.csv. It sends HTTP request to the specified URL to load CSV file or data and executes callback function with parsed CSV data objects. We can have the JSON file also. That is d3.json is the method. So to load the JSON file, we are using d3.json. Okay. Here we can have d3.tsv. TSV file we can load and we can use it with the data of that. We are having d3.xml. So it will load the XML file. Now see, the thing is, it sends HTTP request to this specified URL. So when we are using d3.xml or TSV, or you can say CSV or JSON, we should have our file available on the web server. And from that will be loading because it is taking URL as the parameter. Fine. So now let's say that method is d3.csv to load the CSV file. And the file is say person.csv, wherein the contents are say name, comma age, Tommy, comma 16, Chiku, comma 12, and Baku, comma 10. Okay, this is the content of the file, that is person.csv. Where should it be available? It should be available in the directory that is our data processing, right? Where it is, yes, person.csv file. Okay, this we can see properties. Yeah, okay, no issue. We can see it here, right? This is name, age, and the values are given. Fine. This is our CSV file, person.csv file. Okay. This is person.csv file. Here you can see it is comma separated values, right? Comma separated values. So, okay. Now, we have seen it is having this contains. Let's proceed. Now, To load the CSV file, what should we have is, we should have script type is equal to text slash JavaScript. Source is equal to d3.v6.mean.js. This was the latest version which we have downloaded, right? That is its uh, JavaScript file. Otherwise, say people are working with its fourth version also. That is, you can write it as d3.v4.mean.js, right? For version 6 also, you can find the documentation that is on d3js.org. Fine. But still, most of the documentation, when you search, you will find it for v4 version, right? So you can work with that. It is not specified in our syllabus that we have to use this only. So we can use v4 or v6, right? No issue for that. You just have to mention, when you are writing your paper, you just have to mention that you are writing in v4 or v6, right? So no issue for that. Now, this was for the source, that is our D3 file we are including here. Now, we want to load the CSV file. Okay, for that we can say inside the body, we are writing script type is equal to text slash JavaScript, and script is there. In between that, we are writing d3.csv. Inside that, double quotes person.csv, our CSV file. Then after, we can give the action for that, and that is, we can say function data. Inline function we are providing for loading the CSV file, right? So what we are doing is function data. What is data? That's what we are passing from here. And then what we are doing is console.log data. Now where we'll see this console, does it mean that we are having the web servers console, or are we having our own command prompt, or where? I'll show you that. Right. Where should we see the output of this file? That is, we can say our Chrome browser is that. Typically, we are using that only. So, Chrome browser. Inside that, here you can say at the right hand side, you'll be having 3 vertical dots. Now, when we click on that, we will find more tools. We'll find more tools. Click on that, we will be able to find the developer tools, right? When you click on that, we'll be able to have something like this, that is elements, console, sources. So you can click on the console, and then after you'll be able to see 3 objects here, 3 messages are there. You can click on that, you'll be able to see, and you can say when you click on that particular object, then you'll be able to see it as, say, name Ami, age 16, name Chiku, age 12, name Baku, age 10. That is the content of our CSV file, isn't it? Now let's see that. This is what I have shown you in the screenshots. Let us open that in our HTML editor, run it and see that. For that, let me show you. We are using the Sublime editor. What was our aim? That is to load the CSV file, right? So I am having this load CSV file. It is having the same content as we have just seen, right? Let me just increase the font size so you can see it properly, fine? Okay, so this is the same file which we have seen. Now, let us run this in the browser. How we can run this in the browser? You already know that we should have the file loaded through our web server, right? So here, load the CSV file, right? And the HTML file which we have saved as load csv data.html, right? This is the way we have stored the file. Now let me click on this. It is opening through our web server. How we can see that? It is localhost, data processing, and load CSV data.html, right? So we'll be able to see that. Let's say that we want to see the data, right? Which is being given here as the log. Let me show you that. These three vertical dots are there in our Chrome browser. I'm clicking on that. After that, we can say that we'll be having the more tools. Now in more tools, we'll be having the developer tools. Let us click on that. Now we'll be able to see this console, right? If it is, say, somewhere here, elements, then we have to click on the console. Three messages are there. Now in that we can see three object. Let us click on this object. We'll be able to see the values 16 and say name Ami. After that we can say second object where you can say age is 12 and name is Chiku. And for third object we can say age is 10 and name is Baku. Right? So this way we are able to see the output, isn't it? Yeah, you can see that properly. Fine. Okay, so this is about loading the CSV file, and we can see the output in the console log, right? The way we have stored. Now we want to load the XML data. We already know that what method we should use. Okay, we'll do that. First of all, let us see the content, whatever is given here. Say for loading the XML file, we are having say employee.xml file. The contents are available here. For XML, we have to first write it as less than a question mark XML version and its encoding, right? Then after we'll be having the root tag. Root is in general, that is you can have your any system and you can have any other tag also. As we know that in XML we are having the user defined data. So let us write this XML file. Let's say that we are having root. Inside that we are having row. In that we are having two elements, that is one is name, second is age, right? So for first one, say name is John, age is 30, and row is there. See, you must remember that is for XML file. Whatever tags are open, those must be closed, right? It is nothing like HTML where some tags are not getting closed. It will not work for XML, right? Otherwise, it is not called the well-formed XML. Okay, so that we need to take care. After that, we can say second row is there. For that, you can say name is Jane, age is 32. Fine. So now we want to load the XML file. For that, we have already seen that we have to use the method that is d3.xml, right? So now what we have to do is script type is equal to text-less JavaScript https://d3.js.org/d3.v4.min.js. We are using v4 version. For most of the scripts, we'll be using the fourth version only, right? So now what we have to do is this way we have loaded the v4 d3 JavaScript. Now in the body tag, we'll be writing script type is equal to text/JavaScript, and inside that we are loading the XML file that is using d3.xml, and our file name was employee.xml. See, we do not have to provide any path here. in for loading the employee.xml, because this file we have put in the same directory where this HTML file is there. Okay, otherwise we have to provide the file path also, isn't it? For this, when we are loading, we have provided the action. And what is that? Function, data, whatever are being passed through reading this file, that is being passed to this. And after that, what we are writing in the definition of it, that is console.log and data, right? This is what we are doing for loading the XML file. So what output we can get is, we'll be able to see in the console log as the one message is there. When you click on this this triangle, will be able to have the XML files, and those will be available as the row, right? Let me show you the execution of it. This is load XML, right? So in Sublime, load XML data. Yeah, here it is. It is the same file which we have just seen in the presentation, fine. The D3.js file is being loaded. Then after, we can say that employee.xml, that is being provided because we want to load this particular file, and action according to that. In that, we are writing console.log and data. This is data. Okay, this is data. Now, let us open this through the browser and see the console log. So here, let us go to back. So we'll be able to see this. Fine. What we want to load? We want to load the XML data, right? The file is load xml.html. Let's click on that. It opens the XML file. Does it display anything here? No issue, because it is loaded the XML file and it is being recorded in the console, right? So let us click on this, load this one. What's the issue? No, it is here available. That is something else. Yeah, here it is. Here it is, right? Let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see that. I guess now you can see. Here you can find it. Document was there, right? Document was there. When on the triangle I click it here, I'll be able to see the XML file. This is root tag and root tag, and two rows are there, right? So when I click on this triangle of row, I'll be able to see the first value for name and age, that was John and 30, and then after I'll be able to see it for the second row, and that is, we can say, we'll be able to see it as name is Jane and age is 32, right? It is same as whatever it contains we were having in our XML file, right? Now, next is we want to load the JSON file. For JSON, you already know that how we should write the data. That is, we can say name colon Ami, age colon 10, comma, location colon India, right? Wherever we want to provide the more data, we can say we put the comma, and in the next line we are giving the name colon value, right? And that is being written inside the square bracket starting, then after square bracket ending. Yes, here the square bracket should be there. No, but this file is having more data, so not ended the square bracket here. So we can say that this brace is started, this brace is ended for whatever data row you can say. This is the one data, this is the second data, right? Then the third data, this one, and this is the fourth data. And after that, you can say this brace is closed as well as this square bracket is closed, right? So this is our JSON file. So now we want to load the data and print it on the web page. For that, we can say d3.json is the method that will give us the formatted data object, right? Now what we want is, we want to have the function for that. Whatever is the function, right? We can provide the function. Whatever means, whatever is the implementation of the function, right? Okay. Inside that, what do we want is, we want to give the output. See, till now what we were doing, that was a simple thing. I mean to say that we were only doing console.log. For CSV file, for XML file, we were only writing the console.log. Now what do we want is, here now we want to print it on the web page. So for that, let's say that where do we want to give the output, and that will be say d3.select. So it will be there for body. Then after we can say that select all. And for that, for which particular tag we want to give, it is for p tag. You can say that p tag, is it available? It is not available. What to do, right? Okay, let us see that first, then we'll see the solution for that. Okay, we want to choose the p tag, so we will be using the select all. We have used that in these selections, right? So that will be using. Then after, we'll bind the data and pass to next line of code, and that is using the data of data. Now we'll be having enter function. Enter function receives the values from the data function, but we haven't referenced the p tag, and it returns empty placeholder references to the new elements. You can say, ma'am, what is all these things? These are the steps to have the data loading from JSON file, read it and print it on the web page through the p tag, right? So that's what we are doing. First of all, we have selected the p tag, all the p tags, but p tags are not available, so we'll be appending that. So but for that, what we have to do is, first of all, we have to bind the data, that is using dot data function, pass the data as the parameter, whatever was there for this function. Then after, you can say dot enter. What actually it does, it receives the values from the data function, but as we haven't referenced the p tag, we do not have such p tag available, so it returns the empty placeholder, right? After that, what we want to do is, we now have to references to our elements, and the append method adds this elements to the DOM, right? Append method will add the p tag to the DOM, and that's what we are doing here. Most D3 functions accept functions as parameters. As we have already done, we have passed an anonymous function to the text method that returns a concatenation of name and location from our data object. How we have done that? That is using dot text function, then function of D. Whatever data is coming to it, that is being received in the D variable. Then it returns the concatenation of d dot name and d dot location, which is already there in the file. Okay. Now, if we want to handle the error that was returned in the function, that is, while we load the JSON file, we are having the function, that is function error data, right? Error comma data. So over there, if it is successful in loading the file and reading the file, it gives us the data object initialize, or otherwise we can say error. Fine. So if we want to handle the error, we can write it as if error, then return console.warn error. That's right. So we'll be able to give the warning for the error. Okay. So this is the code. We have just seen the explanation that is in advance so that we can have the idea what to write next. Now we can see the code, and that is, it's very simple code. d3.json users.json, that is a file, function error comma data. Then after we are having console.log. Here also we are using the 4 version of D3. So we have to write script source is equal to https colon double slash d3js.org slash d3.v4.mean.js, right? The way we are typically writing it. Okay, so here I have given this code only because that is known to you. Fine. Okay, so first of all, console.log. After that, where we want to give the output, that is to the body tag. So we are writing p3.select and body tag. Now what we are doing is select all p tags. P tags, is it available here? No, it is not there. We'll append that. Okay, so have the select all p tag. Then after dot data, data, we are passing the data. After that, we are having enter, but as we do not have any p tag available just now, it gives the empty placeholder for the next coming tags available. Then after dot append p. So it is appending p tag here. And for the text, we can say dot text, where whatever is coming to it, that is being considered as D parameter, that is function D. And what we return with this, that is return D dot name plus double quotes, triple colon plus D dot location. Fine. So what we'll be able to see as the output, that is name triple colon, what is the location, that will be able to see as the output on the web page, not on the console, but we'll be able to see it on the web page. Fine. Let me show you that. We want to load the JSON data, right? Let me first show you the JSON file. It was users.json, right? So this is a file where we are having the parameters name, Ami, age 10, location India, right? This way we are having the 4 data available. Okay. Now we want to have the load JSON data file, right? Data.html. Data file we have seen. Now we are looking at the HTML file, right? This is what I was telling you, that we have to load the d3.js. When we pass the mouse like this, it is getting changed, right? Okay, so take care of that. After that, we can say that after loading the d3.js, now what we can do is we can have the JSON loaded, that is using d3.json, right? We know this file name we have provided. Then after we can say console.log is there. Then after d3.select for body, for selecting body, then p tags, then data, then enter. This is empty placeholder. It returns us. Then we are appending p tags, right? This is empty placeholder to fit the next coming data, right? Then after we are giving, that is appending the p tag, and then after the dot text function is there, which will print d dot name and d dot location, right? And as we have appended p, inside the p tag will be having this text. Okay. Let us run this in the browser so you can see the output and can verify that. Let me go to back. What was our file? Okay. What is our file? Load JSON data.html, right? Let me close this. Use load JSON data.html. Clicking on that, we are getting the output that is AMI India, EVA USA, SUP Singapore, Wix Germany, right? So you can understand it is giving you the output for our loaded JSON file, right? Now we want to load the text file. For that, this is the content. How to load the text file, that is using say script src, loading the D3's v4 version JavaScript. Then after we can say d3.text in the body script. We can say d3.text uses.txt and function D where we are having the console.log, right? So we'll be able to have the output, and that is whatever are the contents of our text file. Let's see that in the editor and then after in the browser, right? Load text file. Where it is, no issue, we can write that. I cannot find it here, no issue. We can just have that. We used to start it as, let me just first save that. What was there? Load txt, right? Load txt text dot html, right? And see, it's very simple also, isn't it? The way we were writing it, it's very simple. What is the code for that? It is this one, right? We can have the code available, otherwise it will take more time for us, isn't it? So what we used to do is document, that is doc type html, right? You know these things, okay? I should not tell you that. It is already known to you. HTML, yeah. Okay, these things are available. Now, let's say that load text file, right? So what we do after that, uh, this I should put before, that is this one. Let me remove this because had we have already written, body also is available with the and. Right now, let me write this, loading the JavaScript file, right? Okay, so this is available to us. Save it. It is load text file, right? This is that. And then after users.txt is there. Is it there? Yes, it is available here. Fine. Let us run this in the browser. Here, let us go to back. Load txt file. For this, we have to refresh this. Yeah, here it is available. Load txt, load text HTML, and where we have printed that, that is on the console. So we should go to more tools, developer tools, and we'll be having the output, that is AMI, Ash, Hetu, and B2, right? This is the way we have loaded the text file, isn't it? This is the output. Now we want to do the filtering of the data, right? For that, what we are using is D3JS uses selection.filter function to filter the data the function, that is d3.selection.filter function in d3.js is used to filter the given selection and return a new selection for which the filter is true. Okay. The filter to be used may be a string or a function. So what is the syntax for it? That is selection.filter and the parameter is filter, right? Now for that, this function accepts one parameter as mentioned above and described below. That is filter. It is the parameter, right? It is a string or a function that would be used to filter a selection. The filter is applied to each selected element when using a function. And return values are, this function returns the new selection. Fine. Let us see the code for that. This is the loading of D3, D3, V6 or V4. For loading the files, it was using the V4 version. With that, it is comfortably working. So with that, we have used that only. Here also, you can use the V4, no issue for that. One more thing we have to use it, the d3.js.org. One more JavaScript source we have to use is for filtering the data. That is d3-selection.v1.mean.js, right? Here the version is v1 and this is for d3-selection. Okay. Now what we are having here, that is, we can say body is there, div tag is there, then b tag is there, bold. For first one, this is the text in bold. This text is in bold. This text is also in bold. The third one is capacity. Fourth is computer engineering. Five is data visualization. Right? Now, what code we are writing is script. See, you can write in next line of the editor, but as I wanted to fit it here and show you together, I have put the text starting here. See, it doesn't matter whether you are writing on the same line or next line, but for the readability, people are putting it on the next line. Here to fit the data in the screen, I have put it on the same line. Doesn't matter, okay? What we want to do is, we want to print the odd rows. For B tag, we want to print the odd rows, right? For that, what we can do is let selection is equal to the 3.select all B tag. We want to select all the B tags as mentioned over here, right? We have selected all, but now we want to filter, that is, we want to have the nth child, double quotes, colon, nth child, and we want to provide it as odd, right? And then after we can say dot nodes. We want to have all the odd number of lines. Selection dot for each e implies console.log e dot text content, right? We want to print the content that is for the odd child. You can see here the filter is also written and that is for the even child, that just now I have put in the comment. So if you want to change it from odd to even, you just have to uncomment this and you have to comment the above one, right? Okay. So for that, what will be the output will be getting? Here you can see this, you can see all the text you are getting. This is a browser output, right? And it is simple HTML file where we have returned the B tag. So it will be showing me all the B tags available here. Then after you can say that here the filter is there in the console and there you'll be able to see the odd lines. 1, 3 and 5, right? 1, 3 and 5. Let us run it and see the output so we can have the idea. Filter data.html, right? Do not forget, when we want to have the filter, one thing is we have to load the D3JS file, as well as you have to load the D3 selection file, right? And for D3 selection, we are using the version 1. Fine. In that, it is not having say version 6. So do not consider that D3 is having version 6. So selection also is having version 6. No, that is not at all available. Fine. Say for D3 related packages are there, what we used to talk in other languages. So for that, whatever is the latest version available, that is what we are using. It is nothing like D3 is V6 version is there. So for all the related packages also we are having version 6 available. No, it is not so, right? So for selection, we are using the version 1, right? Then after the code, what we have talked of, that is for B tags. Then after we can say that we are selecting the B tag. Then after we are filtering and nodes, right? And after that, what we are doing is selection for each E implies what we do is console.log and e.text content, right? That is, we are getting the content of the text, and that's what we are printing. Fine. Where we are doing that, that is console.log. So let me open that in the browser and see the output. Let me go to back. What is our file? That is filterdata.html. So I'm clicking on that. Here, the whole data, whatever was returning the B tag, we are getting. And in the console, what we are getting is, we can say, first one, this is text is in bold. Then the third one is capacity, and fifth one is the data visualization, right? So odd number of data we are able to get. If you want to get the even number of data, we just have to change one line, and that will be, we can say, here instead of the odd child, we'll be considering the even child, right? So we'll be writing this one. Let me change in this only. Instead of odd, now I'm writing it as even. Save it. Then after, run it in the browser. Here it is. Should we do the refresh? So now it will show us the even number of rows. This text is also in bold, second number text, right? Then after fourth number text, computer engineering. Fine. So this is what we are able to see from the output of filter. Okay. Now creating a server to upload your data. Typically with Apache or any other web server, data directly is made, right? Data directory, data directory, not directly, it is directory, is made, and then after we can put the data on it, right? Whatever is XML, CSV, JSON, text files are there that are put in the data directory, and we can access it using what? That is HTTP localhost data say x.csv, right? And this data should be available where? It should be available in the htdocs folder. Say, as I am showing the Apache, that is the XAMPP web server, I am showing you that it should be accessed this way, and data directory should be available in the htdocs, right? On any other PC or on any other operating system, whatever is the web server's root directory. Root, this means web root directory. htdocs, or you can say HTML docs directory. In that we have to put the data, right? So we'll be able to use it. Fine. So either we can use it as HTTP localhost data slash x.csv, or otherwise we can use it as slash data slash x.csv, right? CSV. D3's function for loading the data that we have already seen in the detail, that is D3.text, D3.csv, D3.xml, D3.json for this type of files, right? Now, next topic we'll study in the next lecture.